right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank those of you who decide to join us here and watch us and listen to us on various platforms. We always want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching on the replay or on the archive. That means that you took time out of your busy schedule, even though you said we missed you on Tuesday night, to watch us later on. Thank you, and thank you. Remember, you can follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. And especially for those of you who drift onto YouTube, remember, subscribe, and subscribe to our YouTube page. We are making our way slowly but surely to that wonderful 1,000 subscriber marker where we'll be able to monetize our show. So please go ahead and do that, folks. Well, guys, anytime we bring on the show, we like to have one of the most beautiful women on the way of sports talk radio or TV. We simply call the queen. Miss Tree Dolman is back in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hello, Jonathan. Hi, everyone.
What's going on?
Nothing much. I would like to apologize to everybody for missing last week. I actually was not planning on missing. I drove an 11-hour drive and I left at 2:30 in the morning and got back to Atlanta at 1:30. And so I was like, oh, okay. I think it was around 3:57. I looked at the clock and I was like, okay, I'll start getting ready for the show in a couple of hours and then I'll go to sleep after that. Yeah, no, I sat down and it was a wrap. So I was knocked out.
Sorry.
Yeah,
that's
so
the way it goes.
Everybody. Sorry. My body was like, no, you're going to sleep now.
That's right. You got to do what your body says. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what your body tells you to do, especially when you talk about traveling that kind of distance and that many hours. That's a lot of traveling. So we appreciate you. And I always tell people, what they say, health is wealth. Yeah, so you got to take care of yourself. That's very important. Very important. Yeah. But we love to have you back and looking beautiful as always.
Thank you. I missed you guys. How have you been?
Pretty good. No complaints. We're all here and seaworthy, and we want to welcome we have a new group. I should say a new group. We've been getting much more people watching on Twitter TV, which for me is very exciting because before we had brought you on and before Twitter bought out Periscope, we actually used to get the really lion's share of our views on Periscope, which is of course now Twitter TV. And unfortunately, when we switched over, a lot of our audience left. And matter of fact, one of the few key members that stayed with us was Todd.
Yeah, I was on before then.
You on Periscope? Okay, well there you go. Yeah, so that was our big listener base. We had so many people there, and only Todd was well. There might be some other people, but Todd the only guy that identified himself to say, "Hey, I'm with you guys." What was he on? Periscope? Was the affiliate man or something on Periscope?
Yeah, that's what it was, affiliate man.
Right. There you go. Yeah. So we appreciate that the Twitter folks have found us. So we're back rocking and rolling, and hopefully that means that we will get back many of our old folks that used to listen to us and watch us on Periscope TV. Like I said, I really do miss that platform. I think that Twitter should have left. Well, what's Twitter called now? X? Is that what it's officially called now? X?
Yes, I no longer use it, but yes, it's called X now.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I think about X. That's me. Well, so what's been happening in the world of sports? A lot of things. We know how we do it when we get this time of year. He's going to be joining us in the second segment. It's one of your favorite times, Tree. It is March Madness
Yes.
here for the men and the women. And Trey, I know you got to be excited because the women actually got a little bit more buzz than the men coming into the tournament.
Yes, I am excited. Plus, my alma mater, our women are going dancing. We won the championship
What?
2 years in a row, and we won Conference USA tournament 2 years in a row, and we're going dancing, and that's more than 2 years in a row. But I'm excited. So go Middle Tennessee women's basketball team.
Yep. So we're going to bring in our good buddy Deshaun Tate. He's going to talk about what's going on with the men, talk about what's going on with the women. Like I said, the women really did themselves a solid, excellent conference championship games down the stretch. Of course, you know how people are. Controversy always brings more eyeballs, and certainly a little dust up between LSU and the ladies of Lady Gamecocks out of South Carolina. Those two rivals kind of got into it a little bit. So I think that a lot of people are going to be energized to see that, maybe not immediately in the tournament, but at some point they might see one another again. Of course, maybe another rematch between Caitlin Clark from Iowa. So yeah, just the women, they got it going on. But I'm going to hold off because, like I said, my boy Deshaun Tate, our expert, is coming on at the 8:15 segment. So we'll kind of wait for him because he is our basketball savant. So we look forward to having him back with us. Speaking of basketball, Tree, you've been keeping involved with the Hawks. Kind of, they got us on this roller coaster ride, but they look like they still got a shot to get into playoffs and maybe make some noise.
Ooh. Yeah, it's
that's what I said
tough.
too.
Now is the time where I'm starting to worry.
Yeah, because a lot of injuries. Certainly, Sadiq Bey was a big blow. We know that Trey is already out and probably won't get back until right at the end of the season. And Trey, from playing, you're not really factory fresh after you're coming off a layoff of a month or so. Just conditioning alone, trying to come back. So yeah, Hawks are. But to their credit, they have really got the philosophy next man up. They have been playing extremely well. They continue to win games. They shocked the Clippers the other night. I mean, I couldn't believe that. Big win in Los Angeles. Of course, the next night they got blown out. But you got to like this team. I mean, they are playing with a lot of heart and playing actually very good defense.
Hey, that's where it starts.
Very good defense. And of course, everybody chirps and complains, oh, well, they play better D without Trey. Well, the bottom line is that Trey is not known for his defensive skills, so you kind of know what you get. And I think that the other thing they're going to have to maybe look at when he does come back is I'd like to see a situation where, especially with his conditioning, that they maybe let DeJounte continue to handle the ball, maybe get him more set plays where he can really not have to wear himself out at the beginning. And the other thing too is help him to just encourage him to keep moving the ball around the perimeter. Because that's the other key. This team has to have ball moving. But anyway, Hawks, like I said, they are, I think, 4 games in front for 10th place. So barring a whole collapse, Hawks should be in postseason. And let me just say it, folks. No tanking. Okay? We don't want to see any tanking. None of that.
Ooh.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about that? I mean, what's your opinion about teams basically, I don't want to say throwing games, but basically not giving their best effort in order to get better draft picks? Do you like that? Don't care? Part of the game? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's stupid and I think it's horrible, personally. You have a season to play, you have fans, And regardless of how you finish during the regular season, you always want to do your best. You never want to throw games to get a better draft pick. That's just not how you should ever do things. I think that takes away from the integrity of the game. It takes away from the game. And so you always want to win. That should be everyone's goal, no matter what. Even if you have a bad season, go out for the W. So I do not agree with throwing games to get a better draft pick. I think that's horrible. And it's just not something that I will ever condone.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of fans already jumping on saying, well, if we can't get deep in the postseason, let's kind of, just let the season go. But I'm with you. I just think that is bad business. And I think really the league should really find some way to penalize teams who do that kind of stuff. Because like you said, I mean, people always take the fans out of the equation. And I get it. It's a business. Most teams in all sports make most of their money off of TV revenue and things like that. So I get why the fan is not, in their mind, important in terms of their profit. But I mean, at the end of the day, those are the people that really kind of make who you are.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because if the fans weren't watching on television, they wouldn't get the television rating. So
there you go.
The fans are exactly how they're getting those television deals, and the fans do matter. Because again, you can have a TV deal, but if no one's watching you, that deal isn't going to be around long. And they won't even finish out the deal. I've seen plenty of times where shows come on television and they're not getting the ratings that they thought that they were going to get. And so they cut the show. The show doesn't even finish out the season. So yes, the fans matter. And regardless of what you want to do with your draft or whatever you're thinking about with the next season, you have to finish this season. You have this season for a reason. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. We know that with athletes, any play can happen and can injure you, and you're not guaranteed to play another game. So you always just want to give it your best effort every time you step on the court. And we also know that with the players, that games and stats are booked into their contract deals. So why would you not want to give it your all when you're helping yourself in the long run with blocks or whatever you put or your agent put into your contract? Just as an athlete, there's no way I would ever, I don't care what someone tells me, I'm never trying to lose a game, ever.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, obviously, as you know, the teams can get around that. They can just find mysterious injuries. They can find reasons why people don't play during the game. But at the end of the day, I would agree with you. That whole idea with Tank, I think the NBA should put much heavier fines when they suspect a team of doing that kind of stuff, because it really does take away from the integrity of the game. Plus, when you do that kind of stuff, what's to say a team wouldn't do that for other reasons? Once you kind of let that cat out of the bag, I mean, you could have all kinds of shenanigans going on, which we know that referees have been involved in that kind of stuff. But anyway, all that being said, Hawks have an opportunity to get back to postseason again. They will have a tough draw against a Bulls team, what I don't think they have beaten this year, or maybe they've only beaten them once. So they would have to kind of go on the road in Chicago and win that game. And of course, they'd have to win the next game as well in order to get to the real playoffs. But yeah, they got a shot. I mean, the trade comes back and can not disrupt the chemistry they have right now. This Hawks team might be able to do some stuff. No, when I say chemistry, I mean but here's what I'm saying. It's like when
he come back and disrupt it. Let's not forget that the Hawks is Trey's team.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like I said, you kind of been off for a month or so. Team kind of has their little rhythm without you. So that's what I mean. I mean, not in a bad way. I'm just saying, I want the guy to come back, but I just, hope everything is nice and smooth when he comes back, and they can actually be better, or no worse than what they are right now. Because I said right now they're a team that has the potential to get into the real playoffs after winning their playoff games. So just saying. All right, guys, we're taking a little break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you, and thank you.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvisualford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
Well, happy music there coming out of the break. You're listening to or watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host. Next to me, the lovely Queen, Miss Tree Dolman, as we are talking a little basketball, just finishing up with our Hawks. And we are waiting for our special guest for the evening, Mr. Deshaun Tate of 92.9. And I always get a tongue twist on the name of his actual program. I think it's Tate's Take on Hoops. But anyway, he'll tell you that when he gets on, as we get ready to look at another time of year where basketball now becomes part of the everyday man's experience. The Final Four, the March Madness for both men and women. And in case you missed earlier on, guys, I think that the women are going to really make a splash. Last year, setting records as far as the number of people that watched the women's March Madness. And I think this year is only going to be more of the same, as we got stars all over the country playing in women's basketball. And like I said, Tree, I know you must be very excited about that, seeing your ladies really kind of be stars of the show.
Yes, I think it's great for women's sports. It's great for women's basketball, and it's great for the game of basketball. I'm just really excited.
Yeah, you got some great players out there, I said, around the country. So it's spread out, which is always great because now you got people from everywhere listening. Of course, over here in kind of the Southeast, you got LSU and South Carolina from the SEC. Further north, you got teams from UConn, as always, making the noises that always do. And out west, we got USC with the lady freshman sharpshooter, Juju Watkins, putting up a staggering 27 points a game and electrifying play on the court. And, of course, in the Midwest, well, you know who, CC, Miss Caitlin Clark, the number one player in college basketball in Iowa. Yeah, so you can't beat it. Let me see if they got I know they have the brackets here somewhere. I got to try to find them here. Hold on, folks. This is the women in bracketology. But yeah, it's good to see it. And it's funny because the issue came up again. Somebody mentioned something that about the women and what they could do to make things more exciting. And someone took the same stand you took when a male player said, well, y'all need to lower the rim so you can do some more dunking. And multiple women jumped on and said, what? Are you kidding me? We're not going to do that.
Insult. It's such an insult. Right. And it's so funny how some of the men can't even see how much of an insult that's been. The game of basketball has been around for ages and ages. I mean, before there were even 5 players on the court. So we don't need the rim lowered to make the game exciting. It's already exciting. We already know that with men and women, men are stronger, men jump higher. Yes, we know all of this, but changing the rim height from 10 feet, which has always been, I just think it's dumb. And it just amazes me how many men think that would be the answer. It's truly an insult to women and to the game and to the sport.
Sounds like the queen feeling some kind of way. She said, hold up. Let's get it straight. Well, speaking of getting it straight, guys, I saw him pop into the green room. You guys have not seen him around for a while. That's because he's been busy. Go, man, go. But, of course, we always save him for this time of year. This is the time where more eyeballs are watching basketball, especially college basketball, than any other time of the year. And, of course, when we bring on someone, we want to make sure that they are an expert. He is our own basketball savant. You will hear him on multiple stations around the country, including right here in Atlanta, 92.9 The Game. I'm talking about the one and only Deshaun Tate is back in the building. What's going on, sir?
Man, blessings and prosperity. I appreciate you guys for having me. Of course, it's that time again. I appreciate you, Rev, and of course, Tree looking beautiful as always. So I think it's only right since it's that time of the year that I can kind of get rid of this hat because I got to cover up the fact that I haven't shaved today. And I guess we're going to replace it with this hat because it only seems like it's right. So yeah, it's that time of the year. I'll say this real quick before we kind of get started because I know people probably need a little bit of help with their bracket. This is the best time of the year. It is the most. It's the best. It's the most unpredictable. It's highly anticipated, it's buzzer beaters. It's all the excitement. You get to see guys who's never gonna touch an NBA floor ever again. This is their one moment, the one shining moment to be able to share some stories and enhance the experience, to be able to share with your children and your grandchildren. And I tell people all the time, if you haven't talked to that person in that cubicle at work next to you all year, you're definitely comparing brackets. This is a holiday. It brings all people together. The baby is filling out the bracket. The dog is filling out a bracket. I mean, it's hard. Very few times you're going to go places and people are going to be, everybody's going to be excited about things. Church, there's amusement parks. March Madness is very much in a very similar conversation. I know you guys are ready to talk about some of these teams, but I get excited this time of the year.
You said at church, you mean even the preachers? So I got me one too. Even the preacher got one.
Even the preacher got a bracket.
I'm just saying. All right, sir, you got a shout out already. So Serious from off of YouTube said, "That's my dog, Mr. Tate." So Serious that jumped in here and give you a big shout out. Listen, brother, before we do the men, it's like I mentioned before you came on, you got to give a big shout out to the women and the amount of excitement they're generating. And I want to just let you take a quick look at these brackets. And I'm going to talk about, you see, the thing that's cool about the women is not only do you got great play, but you also got the glamour side because, unlike the guys, there's some coaches that dress well, some guys have gotten away from the suits, but the women, they don't be playing. They're like, look, you're going to get hard coaching. You're going to get refs tuned up, players snatched, but I'm going to do it in my heels and my pearls. So let's look at right around the top 4 seeds. It is, of course, you'd expect it. In Albany 1, it is South Carolina. In Albany 2, it is the Hawkeyes from Iowa. In Albany number 3, Portland number 3, you got South Carolina. And at number 4, you got the Texas Longhorns, probably coached by one of the best dressed women in sports, always looking clean, the coach from Texas. All right, Deshaun, like I said, I know men's basketball is your thing, but what do you think about the women, and who should we kind of have our eye on if we're going to be watching this tournament going forward?
Well, I'll tell you this much, Rev. One thing I don't do is I don't play radio. So I know it's going to sound like a horrible answer. While I am a supporter from a distance, I barely have enough time to watch the men, let alone to watch the women. So I support from a distance. I'm probably not the person for it. I know that might disappoint or shock maybe some people, but I don't do coming on other people's programs and pretending to play radio. That being said, I think that it's a wonderful job that, that the more eyes are on the women's game. It's putting a little bit more pressure and heat on me because even dating back to last year, so many more people were, talking about the women's tournament than they were the men's tournament. This looks like it's going to be another one of those years. And I think that is definitely kudos and really good for the women in the women's game. I think that there's been plenty of superstardom in the women's game, not even just, Caitlin Clark or, Flage or some of these other girls, but this is something that's been a thing for a long time. It's just we just haven't paid as much attention. And if you really want to see some of the best brands of basketball, fundamentally sound, a basic brand, which I think is a good thing. That's not an insult by any means. The way that this game was designed to be played, that's ultimately the way that we fell in love with it back December 1st, 1891, Dr. James Naismith, Springfield, Massachusetts, when it was created. that's the game that the women are still playing today. And sometimes the opposite of that is what has kind of moved people away just a little bit from the way that the men play, because it's all about athleticism, run and jump, and not as much about the fundamentals. So there's still plenty of good brand of basketball to play for the women. I love the idea of the fact that it has been promoted the way that it has in a different light too. So respectfully, I don't get a chance to watch as much as I would like to, but I'm definitely a supporter from a distance.
Tree, what do you think? Like you said, so many teams that I just mentioned, just the top 4 seeds alone, and that's not including lurking in the shadows, teams like LSU, teams like UConn. Who do you think, Tree, are going to Notre Dame? Who do you think might be the team to cut down the net, and who might be a dark horse that maybe that you say, hey, you better watch out for them?
Yeah, one thing I've noticed a lot, not too many dark horses. You typically
Right.
with the women's game know which teams are going to do well. You don't really see that many upsets like you do with the men's tournaments. But I'm picking South Carolina to go all the way, and they have a great team, great coach. If they can just continue on the path that they're on, I think that they will be the champions and be the ones cutting down the nets.
Well, I think that is that's a pick that a lot of people agree with. I mean, Dawn Staley has done a phenomenal job. They have now South Carolina turned to a dominant team, surpassing teams like UConn and Tennessee and LSU, teams like that. So great pick. I'm trying to think who I really want to pick. I don't follow it enough to really be an expert, but LSU is going to be a tough out. I think they got a little chip on their shoulder. I think that coach, was it Kim Mulkey? Is she the head coach? Do I have that right from LSU?
That is correct.
Right. Yeah, she's a feisty little something something. So I would well listen, it's really interesting, the dynamic between her and Coach Staley. Obviously, mad respect. But for those of you who follow women's basketball, you'll see that clip on Instagram where as she's walking off, she said, "Girl, I don't care what they say. Everybody wanted to see this." So, I mean, the fact that they're aware their rivalry is bringing a lot of eyeballs to the women's sport, and the fact they play at such a high level. Yeah. So, I'm just thinking, got to watch out for LSU or possibly Iowa to get some revenge.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 teams to kind of watch. So
for sure,
yeah,
the last part I was gonna say with that is, I know that a lot of times there are the usual suspects. I think it's good that we are seeing a little bit more parity in women's basketball as well. Like you were talking about, South Carolina's obviously been strong, and over the past years, Mississippi State, I think Notre Dame has always been pretty strong for the most part. I know Baylor from time to time gets sprinkled in there, along with Texas being another one. UConn is the interesting one, right? Because we have gone for so long seeing them run off championship after championship after championship. And I think I was looking at something the other day where it was just kind of shocking to see that we're working on, and I don't know if this is COVID included or excluded, because we didn't get a chance to see it, but we're talking probably somewhere close to about 7 or 8 years since we've seen UConn win a championship. And I know that sounds crazy to say it, but there's a time for everyone. At one point in time, it was, I think Stanford is usually pretty good in there, like you said, LSU, again, Notre Dame, and Tennessee obviously was really strong and a powerhouse at one point in time. Maryland girls is usually pretty good too. So again, it's just good to see that we're now talking about some of these other teams, some of the Virginia Techs of the world, and just different teams that are representing some of these different conferences respectively. Obviously, South Carolina being at the top of the list. But I think it's just good to see, UConn maybe not win it every single year and see what they have left in the tank, because for once, they're not really like the hunted anymore. They're more of the hunter all over again. And Gino Auriemma going to go down as one of the best coaches that this game has ever seen. I want to see how much longer he has, and if he can win them another one or multiple before he's on his way out.
And there's stuff like you said, every team has their season. Tennessee was a dominant women's program for years and years, and all of a sudden, this upstart team from way up north in the little enclave outside of Hartford, they became dominant, and then Notre Dame challenged them right in their own conference in the Big East. Stanford won a couple of championships out in the West Coast. So yeah, man, it's just great stuff. And like I said again, the thing that's very exciting is really the women have captured both on their own with their style of play and really mimicking what made the men's March Madness and March Madness really got on our plate. The fact that they have players that are staying for 2, 3, and 4 years. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
these rivalries. You look forward to seeing, LSU against South Carolina. You look forward to seeing, LSU against Iowa or Texas, against Stanford. You look forward to these games because the players and even the coaches, like Coach Carter down at Texas, or Coach
yeah,
Kim. These women got strong personalities. You know what I mean? Either through their coaching, their style dressing. They bring it. So, and who knows? We might be looking at a future coach right on our screen.
yeah,
To
yeah.
love Miss Tree Dolman. Who's to say she might get drafted? And if Tree comes on, you're going to get the whole thing. You're going to get competitive nature, that fire. You get some glamour.
There you go.
Hey, listen. Before I go to the break, Deshaun, I don't know if you're aware about this. I mean, and I for a lot of people, I know we're talking basketball, but did you know that Tree put on an electrifying performance at the Super Bowl? Did you hear about that?
I,
Yes,
I
sir.
I missed that somehow.
Well, I will tell you, sir,
Yeah.
at the NFL Experience, the
Okay.
NFL Wives Association decided they would have a touch football game, and
Okay.
someone made the mistake of letting Tree play.
Okay.
She was dominant. 2 touchdowns, 2 pass deflections. I think she had an interception as she led her team to victory.
That's not hard. That's not hard to believe all the way up until you mention leading the team to victory. Because I know she's a Wolverine, but that's a whole nother conversation. We'll save.
Oh, I forgot. Like you were Sparty. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Guys, let me go to a break. I don't want the family feud here. And we're going to talk to Men's March Madness when we return.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is Patrick Willis, and this is Real Talk Sports.
Here's our guy, Patrick Willis, a future Hall of Famer from the San Francisco 49ers. Great guy. Met him at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. All right, Deshaun, let's get to the reason why you're here, the men's bracket. Got a big shout out. We were going to actually have him on the broadcast, but he texted me and said, hey, man, the Bisons. For those of you who don't know, D. Orlando Ledbetter is a Howard graduate. So he's watching his Bisons here in the playoff game or playdown game. What's going on, Deshaun? Do you have any scores, by the way, of that game?
I don't. I would have been if I wasn't doing the broadcast. I know the last time I checked, Stetson was up and Howard was trying to make a run. I will say this much, leading at least all the way up to the half. Stetson was up by double digits, and hopefully, I guess for them, looking forward to a matchup on what is it, Thursday with North Carolina, maybe. Seth Towns, obviously a guy that plays for Howard, has played college basketball. I feel like this is his 8th year. He is the oldest player in college basketball. I think he's about 28 or somewhere close to 30 years old. But nonetheless, I think Wagner had at that point gone into the half, had not attempted a free throw as of yet. They were up by double digits. Surprisingly enough, they are number 1 ranked in the country so far for the month of March. Talking about Wagner, in terms of scoring defense, that is,
Scoring defense,
and holding teams to 54 points on average, and they look like they're clearly on their way to holding Howard. Last time I checked, to just that much. So. Lots of good basketball is tipping off tonight, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to have. Obviously, another game on tonight, 2 more games on tomorrow night, and then the whole thing tips off on Thursday, to where everybody get a chance to not do any work and be in the break room and checking their phones and everything else and watching a little bit of basketball.
Well, you call it spot on, sir. Wagner doing what they do best, totally throwing the Bisons off, holding them to under 40% from the field as they lead with about 3 minutes to go, 67-57. Bisons just hit a 3-pointer, but they have been totally discombobulated by the Seahawks defense. 18 of 50 from the floor, which is only 38%. And meanwhile, Wagner clipping right along, 20 to 52 from the floor, 8 of 16 from 3-pointers. So kudos to them as they have slowed the game down and do what they do best. They're ahead now, 67-57, and most likely going to win that game. All right, we're looking around at some of these teams. First of all, give us the top 4 or 5 teams that are in the tournament right now that you think, hey,
sure,
one of these guys are going to win it.
Yeah, I think that you got to start off with the overall number 1 seed being the Connecticut Huskies. Some people thought that we might be having, conversations about some other teams maybe, contending for that number 1 overall spot. I never thought that it was going to get nearly that close. Then defending national champs, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And to me, they've been the best team in the country all year long. I don't really think it's really been all that close, if I'm just being honest. Also willing to go out on a limb and say that the team this year is better than last year's team who won national championship, even after losing 3 guys to the NBA. So there's just that piece. Obviously, Houston is a big player in all of this as well, where they're still returning some pieces from making a Final Four run a few years ago and got a Hall of Fame coach where that this thing is all about coaches and experienced guards and defense and just physicality and experience, all of those different things, and they have all of that and more. So I think it'll be a little disappointing if we weren't blessed with the opportunity to be able to see UConn and Houston duke it out for the national championship in the desert in Arizona. But Purdue is another one of the number 1 seeds. Obviously, everybody knows about Zach Edey, not only a first-team All-American voted by the AP, but also widely considered to be, getting ready to win another National Player of the Year award for a guy who stands about 7'3", 7 feet 4 inches tall enough to be able to, change the light bulbs on the top of the arena. Let's put it that way. He's been a dominant force. Gonna likely go down as the best player in Purdue basketball history. And so after losing to a 16 seed on last year, they're trying to duplicate or replicate what Virginia was able to do after they were the first team to lose to a 16 seed by coming back the very next year and winning the national championship. It's obviously going to take a little bit more than talking about it to do it. And then you got North Carolina as the last number 1 seed, which definitely feel like they needed to prove something to themselves and maybe to everyone else. You remember 2 years ago, they, Hubert Davis, head coach, was, his first year that year and didn't do so well until they ran up on Duke and ruined things for Coach K in his last game at home, and then met up with them in the NCAA tournament and put Coach K out in his last game in general, but, fell short to the national championship game. Well, they came back last year and returned everybody except for one guy, Brady Manick, which is an outstanding shooter for them, and then missed the NCAA tournament. I can't tell you the last time we had ever seen a team that returned everybody back from going to the national championship game and then was preseason ranked number 1 and didn't make the tournament. So here we are now 365 days later, I guess 366 because there was a leap year this year. And, they are, they're in the number 1 spot where blue bloods are supposed to be. And, we'll see what comes of it for them. They'll have pretty favorable way along the way, at least to the Sweet 16 in the West region. But they'll draw their first 2 games very close to home in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's the gist, if anybody's still awake, of the top 4 teams in the country.
Tree, any questions for Deshaun while we got him here?
So, who do you think is your big Cinderella sleeper this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I can, typically under that definition or description of Cinderella, typically someone that can make it to the Sweet 16. I think there are a couple teams that have the potential of doing it. Whether they will or won't, I think there's one team that definitely sticks out a little bit more to me, like a sore thumb, than above some of the rest. But I think in the South region, James Madison, who's a 12 seed, can potentially make a run like that. Interestingly enough, they are going to play Wisconsin, who's a 5 seed. That 5-12 matchup when you're filling out your brackets is always one that you want to be cognizant of, because there is typically at least one and many times multiple upsets in the NCAA tournament from those particular pairings, 5 versus 12. So that being a 5-12, James Madison, obviously a really good team. I do like them to be able to win a game. I think they're close to winning 2, but I think they'll fall a little short to Duke in the second round. McNeese State is another one of those, 12 seeds that, will match up with Gonzaga. Don't forget, Gonzaga is one of the ones that originally wore that Cinderella slipper for many, many years. Over 20, 25 years ago, now we're talking about. And, now somebody else might have a chance to wear it. And Will Wade doing a phenomenal job as a head coach at McNeese State. And a lot of people are going to have that one circled on their bracket as well. Gonzaga is still a good team, but not nearly as good as the Gonzaga we're used to seeing. So there's that in that bracket. I'm just going to give you one from each bracket. I do believe that amongst the best, 2 seeds, or people widely considered to be a number 2 seed, being Iowa State, especially the whooping that they put on Houston a few nights ago. But don't let those type of things, mistake you or confuse you when you get ready to put in your bracket. Because let me tell you, Tree, what ends up happening. People get caught up in this sport called football, and they pay so much attention to, and this is just stop me when I'm wrong, Rev. People pay a lot of attention. If you could do me a favor, Rev, this guy's so serious. If you could remove that, thank you. I appreciate that.
The go blue.
That was kind of bothering me a little bit, but nonetheless, no. But what realistically happens is people get caught up in the football, the combine, and the free agency, Kirk Cousins going here, Saquon Barkley going there. And then once that's all over with, you look up and you say, well, we don't have anything else. What's next? Oh, crap, we got college basketball. Time to fill out some brackets. Who's been doing what? And you look at the teams that have been hot lately without actually knowing anything. So you look at it, you're like, oh, Iowa State must be pretty good. They beat the number 1 team in the country, the Houston Cougars, by 30 points in a neutral site. I'm going to put them on my bracket. I think they're actually one of the more, I don't know if weaker is the word for Iowa State, but vulnerable maybe is the word that I'm looking at. South Dakota State is not only a really good team, but they're always a really good team. Typically, you'll find every now and then a 15 seed that beats a 2 and puts them out early and makes everybody realize that March is here and March is real, because nobody had it on their bracket. And if there is one, that's probably the one. The last one is a team that I think can potentially go to the Final Four out of the West bracket. Grand Canyon is a good team. I'll take them to win a game. But New Mexico as an 11 seed, I think, is a team that is very good. If you remember the name, Eddie House. He's got a son, Jalen House, dynamic, backcourt over there with another name you might, sound familiar to you, Jamal Mashburn. His son, Jamal Mashburn Jr., is starting backcourt with him as well. So those are just a couple. I think they can make a run to the Final Four, and it wouldn't surprise me to see that 3 seed over there, Baylor, lose as well to a toothpaste school called Colgate. They've been to the NCAA tournament about 4 or 5 teams in a row. So don't be surprised by 2 things that's going to be weird when it pops up as a notification on your phone. A toothpaste school wins a game in the NCAA tournament, and then the other one, probably Drake against Washington State. I got a feeling Drake the rapper somehow, some way is going to get mixed in with Drake the school, and then it's going to be this whole thing. That's just a narrative I have built in my head.
All right. Well, I got some breaking news. Speaking of that, all right. With about a minute to go, Howard has ran off a 9-2 run to
Wow.
cut the lead to 69-66. 59 seconds left to go as they tried to spring, I don't say upset, kind of an upset against the Seahawks of Wagner. That's down in my neck of the woods. I think they're out of the Long Island area, if I'm not mistaken, over where I grew up. So yeah, it's just getting a little. What's that song that Nelly played back in the day? It's getting hot in here.
Getting hot.
Yes, sir. Let's go back and see if we can get a score update here. I'm searching. Let's see if we can get it. Yep, 49 seconds left to play. Still Wagner up 69-66 here as March Madness does what it does. Starts off kind of crazy. All right, my man Todd, social media says, don't sleep on Duke. They got the money. Oh, wow, to pay off the refs.
I'll say this much about that, Rev. I'm glad that he mentioned that, because when you start thinking about March Madness, when you start thinking about the tournament, when you start thinking about the bracket, when you start thinking about history, when you start thinking about tradition, you start thinking about, elite program prestige, and you start thinking about winning, you typically think of the Duke Blue Devils. And we haven't been, we've been sitting here for a good little while, even right now, having conversations about teams that we're running off. And, we haven't mentioned Duke yet, and that's a rarity, if I'm just being honest. Obviously, it's a little bit different with not having Coach K, and they're still trying to figure some things out and what have you. And this is new territory for them because they're always brought up as one of the first teams when we're having these types of conversations. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them. I think they're a Sweet 16 team. I think ultimately because they have Vermont, because Duke is a 4 seed, Vermont is a 13. I think they take care of Vermont in the first round. And then, exactly, I think they'll move on and play James Madison, who will defeat Wisconsin. They'll play them in the second round. Very, very tight game. I can see the narratives being built already. James Madison gets screwed somehow over by Duke in a very close game. Duke moves on, plays Houston in the Sweet 16, and gets dominated by a more physical and just all-out better, more experienced team.
We have another score update with just 17 seconds left to go. The Bisons and HBCU out of Howard has now drawn with a single point, 69-68, as Wagner has not scored for the last 5 minutes. 17 seconds left to go. Bison's trying to pull off the upset. Speaking of HBCU, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guy here that is a legend, a living legend. That's right. He is not one, but 2-time Super Bowl champion. He is a member of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. He's the first ever Carolina Panthers defensive draft selection. I'm talking about the one and only 38, Mr. Tyrone Poole is back in the building. Mr. Poole, what's going on?
Good people? How we doing?
Hold up, man. Hold up.
People?
Oh, he's showing off.
Look
at him going.
I got to get my y'all. I forgot. I'm like, man, Jonathan, I got to do Jonathan's show. So, I try to jump in when I can. So much going on, man. Praise God. So I'm out here working out at my house, and I gotta keep myself encouraged, man. Every once in a while, I gotta look back and say, "Who is that guy?" Can I go back and repeat that? Or this American Ninja Warrior here? Who's that guy jumping over those obstacles? But praise be to God, man. I hear y'all talk about March Madness and everything. I don't know anything about that, but anything with football related, let's go.
The head's right there, showing them guns up. Look, and see, listen, here's how you always know if you got the real guns. When you got them veins popping in the arm, that's the real deal, bro. See, I got show guns.
That's called low body fat, Jonathan. When you got low body fat, then that's when
I ain't got none of
that's
that.
when your veins, low body fat.
Well, the funny part is about that, Poole, is that there's a guy over here that got low body fat, but somehow it still didn't look the way that yours look. I don't know how that works that way, but nonetheless, you need to let me borrow those for some time, man, so I can, at least pretend a little bit.
hey, give it shout out to Ludacris. So you'll be like that, like in video. Get back. We had the video, had the big arms.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, boy. Hey, Morris Shield, he done put out some breaking news. He said Tyrone's actually getting ready for the draft. They're doing another draft now for what we call the master's level guys. So any guy want to come back, Tyrone. So okay, see that Morris, you breaking some news, bro. I had no idea.
Right.
Man, well, listen, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll come back. We got everybody in the building here. You are watching. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. Big shout out to those of you watching, especially on the replay. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Congratulations, Amici, on your new F-250 that you got from us. How was your experience here at Allen Vigil Ford?
Thank you so much, Jonathan, man. I appreciate everything you did for me, man. This is awesome right here.
Brian, I just want to say congratulations, man. Thanks for coming down from Tennessee to get your new truck from us.
Thank you.
God bless and have a safe trip.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. What do you think? Is it worth the wait, buddy?
I love it. I can't wait to get on the road with it.
Well, listen, man, thank you very much, and congratulations to you. Appreciate your business.
Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate your business.
Thank you, Ron.
Hi guys, if you are looking for a vehicle for yourself, please let us know. And we would love to be of service to you. Like I said, again, you can reach us by simply giving me a call, 678-410-9833. We would love to assist you or your family with a vehicle, or you shoot me an email to the sports show, but I'll still find it, jsimmons@realtalksports.net. Well, as Tyrone mentioned, if we're talking football, we got to bring him into the building. So Tyrone, it's outside of March Madness, a lot going on. NFL draft, free agency, guys moving all over the place. So I'm asking you and Tree what you think about some of the moves that have been made. First, I want to get you guys sounding off about not one, but 2 quarterbacks now going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, both Russell Wilson and a guy we thought might be coming here, Justin Fields. Tyrone, first, your feedback on that.
Well, the name of the game is competition. The teams that I played on where we won championships, our competition didn't come on Sunday. Our competition came Wednesday through Friday, the guys you play against. So if you don't have great talent on your team, sometimes it's hard to win because you can't just turn it on Sunday. Or if you're in high school, you can't just turn it on Friday, or in college, you just can't turn it on Saturday. During the week, that's when you get your competition. So I think the more talent you have on the team, it's going to make each player perform a little bit better. And I think Russell Wilson, I think Pittsburgh has pretty much told him, even though he says, I read where he said that he and Pittsburgh are looking at doing a long-term deal after the season, where everybody gonna say that, right? But they didn't bring Justin Fields in, which he's still playing up on his rookie deal, I believe. So I think they want Russell to tutor Justin Fields because he is the future. And just like Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, or Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, you got to have that veteran to teach that rookie. I wish I'd had somebody to teach me when I came in as a rookie. So kudos to Pittsburgh. Their team just got better.
What do you think about both of those guys heading over to Pittsburgh now? Both, pretty good quarterbacks. And of course, Russell, a former Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, I agree with what Tyrone said. When I found out the news, I just thought it was a great move for Pittsburgh. I also think it's a great move for Russell Wilson and also for Justin Fields. Justin Fields has a lot of talent. I think that he will be one of the greatest quarterbacks to play in the NFL with his athleticism. And I think it's a great move for him to be able to sit under a veteran quarterback. I also feel that Russell Wilson still has a lot of football left to play. And I just feel really awful for what he had to deal with the last couple of seasons where he was in Denver. And I just think that this is a better move for him. I think he'll get more of the support. I think that we'll see better play from him. And I know that they're saying that he has the starting spot, but of course, if anything goes wrong, they have Justin Fields there to back him up. But I just think it's a great move for the team and also for the players. And I'm really excited to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do with this new change. And just like I said, really excited for both the players. I have a lot of respect for Russell Wilson and also for Justin Fields, and I want to see them both succeed.
Tyrone get another shutout. Shout out to all them guns. He said, what's he saying, Tree? I can barely hear what he say.
Can you move the mouse? But it says, Tyrone, you need to be coaching, impacting these kids. like lazy, no effort cowpit.
Todd, to be honest with you, it's kind of difficult. Really, it is difficult. I'm being truthful here because most of these coaches, I don't really think they're trying to teach the kids how to play ball. I think they're trying to teach the kids how to play in a system so they can win games and they can get better paychecks. Now, I probably would have said that, years ago myself, but now I'm at a state where, I can't play ball no more. So all I have is all this wisdom that's up in my head, right? But when I go to try to give it, right, if somebody's doing something wrong and I come in, then, I rock the boat. So the best thing to do is if you got somebody who knows something, keep them away, because if they come in, I could lose my job if I'm the coach there, and I could lose my ability to move to the next level because this guy coming in will let everybody know that what I'm doing is wrong, right? So they'll be like, how come you only won 3 games in 3 years? This guy comes in and we win 8 games. Maybe we need to make him head coach. So really, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It benefits the kids, but it takes a strong coach with a strong sense of self to allow somebody to come in that may know more than them.
Well, guess what, Tyrone? Somebody is going to bring you on their staff because I just feel like you will be one of the NFL coaches you need to be. And I agree with that. You have a lot of knowledge. You have the heart. You're a natural. And you're dedicated, you're passionate. So any team would definitely benefit for having you on their coaching staff. And yes, colleges would also benefit, but I see you coaching in the NFL. I think that's what you would just really excel at. And I just think that's on the future road coming soon. And also, how can I get that poster to your right? Because that picture is fine.
They were the Panthers.
Yeah.
That was that was my rookie year. We were actually playing it in Clemson. You see that orange down at the base? Well, that's Clemson Stadium, and that's why our first season we played our games there. And you see the patch. If you guys can see it clearly, but that's the inaugural patch for the Carolina Panthers. So we were with Reebok, and I was a Reebok product. That's why you see me with all that Reebok stuff on. So, but yeah. That's a great picture.
That picture. I want one.
I know that fresh out of Fort Valley State, HBCU right there, Tree. Fresh out of Fort Valley State. Didn't know nothing.
Hey man, listen. Well, you knew enough to get on that Carolina Panthers team, and they've excelled on that team. So you had to know something, brother. I mean, because they don't put you up there for nothing. Yeah, ain't nobody paying you up there talking about, well, we hope the guy's all right. No, you got to be all right or you're going to be sitting down. So speaking of that sitting down, you guys both talked about that earlier, the idea of Justin Fields going in and sitting down behind Pittsburgh. And, of course, now that the deal is done, people are coming out saying that basically Justin Fields, once it kind of got late and I guess maybe the Falcons went in or whatever, he actually told his agent, hey, listen, these are a couple of teams I want to go to. And Pittsburgh was high on his ranking. And he's come out and said, he said, listen, he said, first, when I was younger, obviously growing up in Atlanta, I was a big fan of Cam. He said, over the last couple of years, I've really studied Russell Wilson, and I'm trying to really elevate my game to get more like his. So he's really ecstatic about coming over there and playing under Russell Wilson. And Tyrone, you said something to me which I really didn't pay attention to much until I watched kind of some of the post-trade clips from Russell Wilson. And I don't know, man, he just doesn't seem to be too comfortable. I mean, he's saying all the right things, but body language, your body gives you away, man. He just doesn't look like he's all in. And maybe that's why Pittsburgh also made this move thinking, hey, if we don't know what we're going to get from this guy, we have to have a backup clause as well. So, I mean, and keep in mind, I wanted Russell Wilson to come here, but he doesn't quite seem like himself. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether he's got a lot of things going on. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Something just doesn't quite seem right.
Just like one of the I believe, I'm looking at his music, not what he did behind the scenes of his music, but I'm pretty sure you guys would agree he's probably one of the best gifted R&B singers. But he would say, "My body's telling me yes, but my we say my mind telling me which way." That's what
Lord have
Russell
mercy.
said. Russell said his mind is telling him yes, but
Please help me.
his body is telling him.
Please help me. Help me, somebody, please. I gotta put some shades on
But you
that,
know,
Lord, please.
but you know,
Oh my
sometimes, like you
gosh.
say, you know, I got to add a little bit of fun to it, man. But you know, sometimes it is true. You know, your mind could be somewhere else. You know, and your mind wants to tell you to say the right thing, but your body is not putting forth that effort, and that's where they say that passion, man. So you know, if something else grabs your passion, then I don't care what comes out of your mouth. Like you just said, you know, your body doesn't correspond, and people can see it. You know, I don't care how much you say you passionate. I want to win championships, but if you're not in there doing what you used to do, and see, this is the thing. He got history, right? So if somebody want to go back and see if he has the same passion now that he had in his 5th year, all they got to do is go back and look at situations. Well, this is what you were doing in your 5th year when you were passionate. We don't see that passion no more. So yeah, your mind can say the right thing because now you understand it's corporate. It's corporate, right? You got to say the right things.
Tree, what do you think? I saw you kind of laughing when I was talking with you. What do you think?
No, I just thought it was funny. But I do feel that he does want to be there. I mean, if you think about it, even if Pittsburgh was not originally high on his list, the fact that he knows that they really want him there, that's what we all want. We all want to be wanted. Even in your professional career, you want to be at a place where they want you, where they value you. And that's what I think he's definitely looking for. So regardless of what you've seen, I think that he does want to be there. It's difficult to go through the season that he went through last year where he wasn't wanted and he knew he wasn't wanted and he wasn't respected and he wasn't valued. Now he's at a place where they actually want him. They value him. They respect him. They're looking for his input. They believe in him. And that makes a difference. Even though, yes, it's a paycheck and yes, this is your career, you still want all of those things. And it's going to help him excel when you know that the team and the coach believes in you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a fact, something new.
Yeah. And, you know, I think one of the bigger things is going to be his passion. You know, he's late in his career. You know, he got a family and he probably got other options, life after football. So what's going to be the biggest test, I think, according to, you know, about his passion, when the Steelers say, okay, we're ready to give Justin Fields look more reps, you know, here and there, you know, how will he handle that? You know, because I'm telling you, it's very difficult. And myself coming from a situation very much like Russell, I just played defense, being a starter for so many years. And then they ask you to come in as a backup or you're like, hold on, man. I've been doing this for years. And then you see the talent that they putting out there is not better than you. That makes it even tougher, man. So, you know, those going to be the points that are going to come up in the season that everybody will be paying attention to.
Tree, what's that saying?
Damian Mitchell, can you please move the mouser to the left? I think it says brother Poole, Damian Mitchell, Jim Mitchell's son. I can't see the first letter because the mouse is the cursor's on it, but I think it's brother.
Yeah,
looks
brother.
Like brother
Yes,
Poole.
it's brother. Yeah.
Damon Mitchell, Jim Mitchell's son. Jim Mitchell, I think, was a tight end here for the Falcons. Did I get that right? Back in the day.
Well, hey, what's going on, brother? Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk Sports, headed by Jonathan Simmons. You need a car, you need a truck, you need to go see this dude, man. He'll put you in one. He'll probably charge you some high interest rates, but he'll get you in one.
Slow down, Poole. Slow down.
I gotta make it funny, man. I gotta make it funny, dog. He'll give you a great deal. Go see him. But what's going on, Damien?
And good news, if you got some credits, Ford actually has some vehicles that are, 1.9%. So yeah, we'll help you out. Damian Mitchell is, let's see here. He is, I guess he plays for Alabama, son of Jim Mitchell. I believe that Jim Mitchell was a tight end here for the Atlanta Falcons back in the day, if my memory serves me correctly. So big shout out. And yep, he said that is correct. And there's Damian. Matter of fact, Damian himself said that's correct. Yep, amen.
Yeah, what's going on, Dave? Hey, I got a question for Tree. Tree, what do you think about Detroit? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let you go with it. I know you got something to say. Woo, look at her. She already got something to say, boy.
All right, please,
I'm
look.
I know, right? She's busting at the seams. So let me say this. Now, Detroit, they on the verge of greatness, man. And I feel like Detroit is missing really a wide receiver. If they can get that number one wide receiver, that person that can stretch the field, that person where the defense has to say, the defensive coordinator has to say, this guy's not going to beat us. We're going to put two people on him. Then it's going to open up Jared Goff. It's going to open up the running game. It's going to open up so many other people. I don't see Detroit making any splash. I understand that the pool of wide receivers may not be that deep, or offensively, there may not be a lot of juggernauts out there. But Tree, what do you think, Detroit? Are you happy with what they're doing in free agency?
I am happy with what we're doing in free agency. The pickups that we've gotten, I'm really excited about, and I think that it's just what we haven't gotten so far. I think we're going to get in the draft, and I'm really excited because the different pieces that I've been seeing that they've been picking up, I'm like, oh, that's a great pickup. Oh, this is a great pickup. So yes, I'm actually really excited about it. I do agree with you. I would like to see a really high wide receiver come over. I'm happy that I've been seeing pass rushers, and just I think that Detroit, everybody should be ready for us next season.
Yeah. Maybe they need to get Calvin to come back out, get Megatron to come. I think he's still young enough. Get him to come on back to Detroit just for a season. Just for a season, Megatron.
I mean, I would love that, but I know for a fact he's not coming back.
Yeah, Megatron said, "I'm through, baby." Well, now, funny treat.
Though.
Tyrone, speaking of that, Mel Kiper is in your corner. Mel Kiper, his mock draft says that he's looking for the Lions at 29 to draft a speedster. Xavier Leggett, guy runs a 4.3940, and that's kind of who they're picking for the Lions to pick up to bolster that and bring some help to Amon St. Laurent. So, yeah, look for the Lions to go in to grab someone in the draft. Listen, there's some guys out there. You got the speedster from two guys out of Texas. Both did very well in the combine. I know, of course, the combine doesn't mean, the end all, the be all, but there's receivers out there that guys they can pick up late in the first round.
But see, here's my thing with that. Detroit is not building. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Coach Campbell has built Detroit to be like Kansas City or, the Dolphins where they just throwing the ball downfield. They're not built like that. I think they need a receiver. If I had to go back into the past and look at a receiver, somebody more like a Jerry Rice, somebody who, they're not on the clock 4-2, but they run all their routes at 4-2. And yes, you can get a guy who runs a 4-2 straight line, but when he goes to run a 15-yard dig or a curl route, or he got to run a comeback, does he give away his routes to the defensive back? And now I don't care how fast you are. If you can't run pristine routes, you're no good to the offense, because defense is going to say, hey, he's a deep threat. When he get them knees up, he's going. So really, if they do get a speedster, I think they need to have a veteran receiver who could tell this guy, hey, this is how you need to run your routes, okay? You're giving everything away. So again, I don't think Detroit is built to just throw the ball downfield. I think they need a receiver that scares the defense to where it opens up the seam so they can run the ball. Of course, they lost Swift, so whoever they have to back, not Swift with Philadelphia. But bottom line, they need to add weapons to help Jared Goff. And I don't think they need a guy that's a burner going straight down the field. I don't think that's Coach Campbell's game plan. I think he want to hit you in the mouth and play action.
I have some kneecaps on the way up.
Well, to both of you guys' point, that's why Mel Kiper likes this young guy, because, in fact, he gives you a little bit of everything. This guy actually grabbed a staggering total of 71 receptions last year, 1,255 receiving yards, and he was only logged in by Pro Football Focus with having a grand total of 2 drops in 97 targets. So, yeah, he's got some speed, but it's not like this guy's got some hands, so he might fit in, to what you guys are looking for.
Okay, now with all that being said, I know Tree, I'll say this real quick and let Tree jump in. If he got all that, Jonathan, why is he going 29?
Well, you got some other guys up in that draft. First of all,
I'm just saying. You wrapping off some numbers, and I'm like, if he's that good, then why is he going 29? And then my next question would be, if I'm a scout, how many of those catches, what type of routes were they? Were they deep routes? Or so again, it's a lot of things that you got to break down that I've learned over my years. It ain't just about numbers, man. So, but again, if he got all that, why is he going 29th?
Well, I mean, it's still the first round. I mean, it's not like the guy is going in like, pick number 99. That's a first round draft pick. And usually you don't pick a guy in the draft, first round of draft pick, unless you think he's going to be an impact guy right away. And like I said, again, you got some guys on the top of that draft, man, that are pretty strong. You got the Marvin Harrison. You got the young man, I can't call his name right now, second ranked receivers. You got some receiving studs. And also you got teams that need help in lots of other areas, like the Falcons, for example. They need help in defense. Either a cornerback. Yeah. Wow. Y'all been waiting to laugh at them Falcons. Y'all been waiting to get them. Listen, one of these years I'm gonna be right about these Falcons. So this year, once again, I'm saying what I've been saying.
1 year you will. We'll see when that year comes.
It could be this year. If in fact they get at least 90% of what Kirk Cousins was, not even 100, if they get 90%, the Falcons should be a playoff team. Based on what we've seen last couple of years.
I will say this. You guys are lucky that Kirk Cousins went to a school in Michigan. So, yes, he will help you guys a lot.
and see, that's the great thing. I'm looking at Tree as well is I think Ridder is going to benefit out of this the most.
Well, yeah.
I think he's going to look back on this and he's going to say, when he proves everybody wrong about, they need to get rid of him. You know how they had those saying going, get rid of that quarterback. So I think long run that he's going to look back and say Kirk Cousins played a major impact on him being this all-star caliber quarterback. And all those fans who dusted him, his rookie year, they're going to be kissing up to his butt. So again, I think Ridder has everything. I just think, again, like you would point out, some of the times, why would you throw the ball like that? Why? That's all because of youth. And he get a veteran like Kirk Cousins, regardless if Kirk Cousins hasn't won a football playoff, but one playoff game. I look at how many times had this guy started in the NFL. And I think Kirk Cousins has started, the last time I checked, over 100 and I think maybe 20-something starts or 130-something starts. That's a lot of starts in the NFL, man.
It is. And his numbers are really good. He was one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. When you looked at his numbers, he had exceptional numbers.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said we can even get 90%. Now, there is some breaking news here, speaking of Mr. Kirk Cousins, and our man Todd has mentioned it, which is true. He said that thanks to Kirk running his mouth in the presser, we may, in fact, lose our top picks. And the breaking news is this, that Falcons could lose a first-round pick for alleged tampering violations. Yeah, it came out probably about 2 weeks before he signed that allegedly Arthur Blank told the guys in the front office, you get Kirk Cousins no matter what it takes. And Kirk kind of made some indication that the Falcons have basically made him an offer before the official date on Wednesday. And the NFL is now investigating this, and the penalty could be as high as the loss of a first-round pick. Now, it may not necessarily be this year, but that would be a major blow to not only have to pay a guy $100 million over the first 2 years, but lose the first-round draft pick. Hopefully that's not true, but that is the news that's buzzing around.
Well, this is my thing. You can't be mad at Kirk Cousins if it slipped out, right? You need to be mad at the Falcons if they're the ones that went and trying to negotiate a deal before it was time. So you have to actually look at whose fault it is. I'm pretty sure that Kirk didn't intentionally say, oh, well, yeah, my new team, let me go and say that they were trying to get me before it was time. I'm sure it was a slip, but again, you can't be upset at anybody but the actual Falcons for reaching out before they should have, if that is true. But hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it does, hey, it is what it is. You just move forward and make the best of it.
Well, Tree, it's just like the 49ers. You can't, players, you hope that they don't say crazy things in front of the press. But when you got players saying, well, hey, we didn't know what the overtime rules were. You can't expect anything to come out of anybody's mouth these days. But, at the same time, if the Falcons did mess up, then it's just like that movie, what's the movie with the old Cleveland Indians, where Charlie Sheen played in the movie, Major League.
Yeah,
Major League. When the guy said, you know what, the only thing left to do is to win the whole thing. So if the Falcons did mess up, the only thing left to do is to win the whole thing, and that'll put all that to rest.
Yes.
There's no doubt, but yeah, it was. I mean, you kind of knew because all these rumors were coming out about him looking for the house, and of course, Kyle Pitts backpedaled. He said the rumor was that he had already talked to Kyle about the number, and Kyle came out and said, "No, I didn't." But it did seem like they've been chatting for a minute, about who's going to wear 18. And speaking of that, for those of you who don't know, it has been decided Kirk Cousins will actually wear number 18 for the Falcons. He's going to let Kyle retain number 8. So that is some more breaking news that was announced, I think, the other day. That, he will be wearing number 18 for the Falcons, and Kyle Pitts will remain at number 8. So, I mean, what about defense? I mean, they've been putting a lot of engine in the offense. What do you guys think they should do on defense? Tree, I'll ask you first. You're a big defensive person. What do you think they should do? As you said, they need everything. So
right. They need to get everybody on defense. Like we definitely need pass rushers. You have to make your defense put fear in the other team, period. When the other team is preparing and studying, they need to know, hey, they have so-and-so and so-and-so. We have to change up our entire game plan because we have to go against them. We need to get people like that on defense. We have to have people that make plays. We have to have people that, regardless of what the score is, they know, hey, we're about to get this stop. It's not about, we hope. No, you know you're going to go out there and get a stop, get an interception. You need some dogs, which I say that one player that we had with the Lions. We some dogs in Detroit, but you need that, and that's what the Falcons need. But it can be done. I'm seeing some great moves being made. They just have to keep making great moves, and then I see that, hey, maybe you'll actually be right, Jonathan, when it comes to the Falcons and your predictions.
Tyrone, what do you think? Well, let's go to social media right quick and see if we got another comment on social media here, and it is. Let's see here. Todd is saying, if it's true, you should fire the GM, Terry Fontenot. And then, he gets right to the point. Said everybody acting like Kirk is Tom Brady. He ain't Tom. What do you think, Tyrone? Is he okay, but not elite? So what do you think about Kirk Cousins?
He said, is he okay? Well, he said he's not.
Is he okay? Not elite. Okay, got you.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I want to make sure I go back with Tree said dogs. I can't lose this joke that I had in my head that I was about to say when she said that. But going back to Kirk Cousins, not Tom Brady, Tom was a great guy. He had a different type of passion, and that was his strength, his passion. But I could very well say, because I was there playing against the Colts, we could have been very well saying that Peyton Manning is the GOAT. Because if it wasn't for us, the Patriots knocking the Colts off so they couldn't get to the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning could have very well won 6 Super Bowls himself. And we'd have been saying he's the GOAT. And we'd have been saying Kirk Cousins he's no Peyton Manning, right? So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, Kirk Cousins has to find his passion. What is it that the fire that burns within him? And I do think, his spirituality is one thing. And I think he is that type of guy. He is a corporate guy. He's that quarterback that's going to throw the ball to the open person, a la Joe Montana. Joe wasn't trying to throw the ball down the field, get the ball to the right people. So I do think in that aspect, that's his strength. He knows where to throw the ball. And like Tree alluded to earlier, the guy does have pretty good stats. So that's what I'm thinking that is going to be his strength, his ability to make decisions. And that's going to already boost the Falcons up. I think people have already said that the Falcons are front runners right now by the signing of Kirk Cousins to win the South. So that's kudos right there. So let me go back to what Tree said to get them dogs, right? Because I'm about to bring the Lawrence Taylor out, baby. The Lawrence Taylor LT said, let's just go out there like a pack of wild dogs, baby. So that's what the Falcons got to do. Go out there like a pack of wild dogs on defense. But also, I think the Falcons need one, and they need to draft passion, right? So what I mean by that is all the players, they got to come with passion, man. If all 11 of those guys play with passion, then they're going to create that dog that Tree is talking about. Passion can take an average person and make them great, right? But they need one and one. They need that one person on the defensive line to be a dog. They need that person at linebacker to be a dog. They need to find somebody in the secondary to be a dog. And they can get those one and one and draft Passion. I'm telling you, that defense would be like the Miami Dolphins, what they call them, the no-name defense.
No name,
Man,
buddy.
they out there just balling.
I mean, well said, Tyrone.
Thank you, Tree. Thank you. Hey, that's part of being a part. Hey, I was part of probably, arguably, one of the best defenses that Bill Belichick ever had. I'm like, at defense, all we did was run man to man, and we blitzed Willie McGinnis and Mike Vrabel and Big Ted Washington. Had to turn him sideways just to go through the door. Ted Washington was so big.
That's a big boy.
That's the biggest dude I ever seen. But yeah, one and one, and each player needs to draft Passion. And the Falcons defense, they will ball out. Because defense is all about just reacting and causing chaos. So that's why when Tree said dog, it made me think about LT right away. Let's just go out there like a bunch of wild dogs. You know, you guys have seen them wild dogs in the jungle? Man, them wild dogs, boy, when they get on you, they all get on you. So
yeah.
Well, JD Stacy's saying, he said we need some defensive players. Well, first he said I need some defensive players, but I'll be taking Penix at 8, the great quarterback out of Washington. Todd is still continuing to throw shade. He said he got one playoff win in Tyrone in 9 years. And then once again, JD Stacy says, yep, we need defensive players, but I'm selecting my future quarterback at 8. Yeah, I don't know about that, brother. I think that well, let me flash up some guys, potential guys that the Falcons may add to their defense. If you guys are watching on the screen there, you'll see the 3 top-rated edge rushers. Jared Verse out of Florida State, Dallas Turner, who most people think is a consensus pick for the Falcons at 8. He's the highest rated guy at that position. Also, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Laiatu Latu. And then lurking in the shadows, the possible free agent. He's a little bit older now, obviously, Jadeveon Clowney, who's available. What do you guys think about adding one of those defensive players on? And if they do add Clowney, should they maybe go for a defensive back? Because they actually, as far as you go to the best player available, they got a couple of defensive backs rated higher than any of those 3 linebackers. So what do you guys think?
Miss Tree?
Yeah, I don't know about any of those players. Sorry. So I can't speak on it.
Well,
let me ask this question. Do you think they should go for the edge rusher first, or if they picked up a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, who's, last year I think had 9 sacks, I think. Yeah, like the pass rusher?
Yeah. Personally, I think I'm gonna stay home in Atlanta again with this next artist, right? We gave Ludacris a little bit of shout out here on Real Talk Sports. So now I'm gonna do a little bit of TLC. If the Falcons if they got it already at home, a defensive end, somebody who could play, they just gotta, get a little bit of passion, confidence, then stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, right? TLC, right? Why go out and get somebody else? Just train what you got at home. And really, guys, I'm telling you, that is the difference between a person who is average and a person that becomes great. It's the passion, man. It's the passion and the confidence, right? And I'm telling you, if the Falcons got that guy already at a defensive end, number one, he's already up under contract, right? So whether he got 2 years left or whatever, you don't really have to go out and pay nobody. And you can take that money and sign people on your team, key players, for longer contracts, because I do believe that within a few years or so, I see the Falcons knocking on the door again, right? But sign your people, your core people right now. So again, if you got somebody that you can save money with, you don't have to go out and get a Clowney, then, TLC, stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. But, I do know that, the secondary, if they can get the front 7, front 4, the defensive linemen and the linebackers, then that creates a great secondary, right? So you got a great front 7, man, you can take an average corner and turn them into an all-pro.
Funny you should mention that, Tyrone. One of the guys that got a lot of buzz last year was a pick that he kind of was a dark horse pick. Before we do that, though, you got some shout-outs, baby. It's our man, Sully. He said, oh, shucky ducky, you better call Tyrone.
Sullivan. What's going on, man? Thank you for tuning in to Real Talk Sports with our host, Jonathan Simmons, and the beautiful Tree Dolman. She just,
Thank you.
Tree make us look good. We just two thorns between a row. Oh, let me see. Tree's on the outside. Jonathan, you put Tree on the inside. Then what I'll say, there we go. We are two thorns beside a rose. So
You're kind.
Sullivan just said, Tree. Got real excited there.
Sullivan. We're all here now, so now we get to pick.
You forgot my nickname. He's got a nickname for me, Pastor Jay Slice, except on the golf course. That's we gonna be Jay. You're not there. All right. Our man JD Story says, right, Tyrone, re-sign Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell, and roll with what you have already. They weren't bad last season. Well, the guy that we are missing, and I had a guy talk about this the other day, is the Falcons signed him. He showed a lot of potential when he played at Ohio State, but he kind of slipped down the draft, and that is Zach Harrison. He looked like a beast. Later on, when Grady was out, had 3 sacks. Late in the year, he had a total of 33 tackles. The guy is massive. He's fast, he's strong, and he plays the edge. 6'4", 272 pounds, and got a wingspan of about a 6'7" player. So there's your guy, Tyrone. If they can coach him up, you might have what you need just right there.
Yeah, because, you look at the 49ers, they got the defensive lineman from the Washington Commanders,
Chase Young. Yes, sir.
Chase Young. Like, how impactful was he going there? Of course, they had Bosa, but I say unless you can get a John Abraham going back into the day, when the Falcons picked up John Abraham, they can get a guy like that, then go get him. It's just like if I'm a GM and I'm drafting, and I know we need a defensive end, but man, if a Marvin Harrison Jr. drops down, dude, forget about a defensive end. We got to go get this guy because he's that guy that makes a difference, man. So, so I think in free agency, they got to get that guy. They're going to bring somebody in. They're going to pay them. They have to come in and make immediate impact.
No doubt. And like I said, again, I just think that they got a shot to do some things. I'd like to see him pick up a defensive player. I think Jadeveon Clowney would not be a bad pickup. That would allow you, like I said, again, to pick a cornerback because, you got a situation where your top quarterback is, to be coming up to, I guess, an option year coming up pretty soon, and you need some help. And if you got all of a sudden that defensive backfield, maybe you got a guy that can give you some assistance with some shutting down with A.J. Terrell and add another guy back there, and then now you can maybe, like you said, either from Zach Harrison or Arnold Ekatabi, if one of those guys can step up their game. And I think I re-signed Bud Dupree, 6.5 sacks last year, a guy that wants to be here. Yeah, you know what the Falcons can do. Well, speaking of want to be here, we'd like to be here longer, guys, but we have went into our overtime session like we do during regular football season, so we got to go. So let me go back to social media real quick. A few last words. JD State said we shouldn't be picking early anymore if things go as planned, so it's now or never for getting a quarterback. And he said, Zach Harrison came along very well. Well, guys, you know how we do it. Before we sign off, we want to make sure you guys know more about our guest and our co-host. So how do you like to do it? Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Hey, it's always good, Jonathan, to be a part of Real Talk Sports. So appreciate you letting me come on. And beautiful Tree, always good to see your face, brightening up everything, putting a smile on people's faces. But hey, you can follow me, Tyrone Poole 38, all social media, and go to workthatthing.com, people. Come on now, explore, and try us out, right? With them guns. Go to workthatthing.com. I put it on him. Hey, that's all that pressing. I used to do that press when I was playing, right? So that's a 53-year-old gun right there. Now this thing with that gun.
That's the real guns. There ain't no show guns. Those are the real guns. Tyrone Poole, thank you, sir.
Guns. And thank you, Tyrone. I need to call you because I need a workout. You got to get me right.
Let's go.
He said, "Get you right. Get you right." All right.
Let's go.
Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours. So long, Tyrone.
Hello, everyone. So happy to see you guys again. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Ms. America International 2022. And happy first day of spring to everyone.
You forgot about that. The Queen has spoken. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Yeah, I'm a real live minister. That's right. Believe it or not. Yeah, so you can follow me anywhere on social media. Let's see if I can get that up here somewhere. You can follow me, or better yet, follow the show, Real Talk Sports, the number 7, or you can follow me personally at Minister J Sims as Minister and the letter J followed by SIMM. You can find us there. Or if you got a great sports story, hit me up, J Simmons at realtalksports.net, or simply call or text me 678-410-9833. All right, guys, before I go, most important thing I always like to tell you, please, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you must do that. Why? Nobody loves you like him, not your mom, not your babe, not your boo, not your ride and live. Nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that came, died for your sins, and rose from the dead. And when he did, he's got 2 great things for you. If you repent of your sins and believe in him, 2 things. 1, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number 2, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. You now can go to God like a heavenly parent, asking for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And more importantly, when you leave here, because we all got to do that, you go to that wonderful place called heaven where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, no bad people anywhere. It's beautiful. It's sunny. Everything is beautiful, adorned with the most beautiful jewels ever thought of. Matter of fact, the streets are paved with a gold that's so pure it's translucent. And you now get to see the creator of the universe and Jesus Christ, who died and rose for you face to face, along with all the people of love. And you avoid that nasty place called heaven. Called hell, where all those things I mentioned in heaven will not be there. It's dark, it's dreary. You will now be with the devil himself, all those demons, all the most evil people in world history. But more importantly, you cut off from God, from Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together, we simply tell you, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care. Bye-bye.